as he leads his Marowak into the Furret of Colin.
Boom has been heavily relying on a Shadow Steelix as well. Is going to bring it once again here in Game 1 of the Losers Finals. Starting off with Kanto Marowak versus the Furret. Furret has super effective Trailblaze, however you're pacing slowly to it, tries to catch a Trailblaze on the Altaria, does not succeed, and now Shadow Scissor is in a prime position.
Goes for the Sky attack, hasn't built up to that Flamethrower just yet. Colin, though, knows he just needs to play out the 2-shield scenario here, take this Altaria out of the sky, as Scissor is his best answer to it on this line of 3. Night Slash comes through. Will a boost be applied? Colin, I don't think he's boosted this tournament yet. This would be the time to get it done. Night Slash onto the Altaria, and there's going to be no boost applied, but he can get to this next Night Slash before the Sky attack.
This will surely knock out, and if it boosts, you have a super strong 65% HP Shadow Scissor with drastically raised attack. Are we going to see a boost? No, absolutely not. Shadow Kanto Marowak is not being brought in. We're trying to resist those bullet punches with the Steelix. However, those charge attacks, they do a lot of damage.
I like seeing this Night Slash just being thrown immediately. No need to reach for the Trailblaze. We can just go to the Furret here, and then we can now take down this Steelix with just one Trailblaze and a couple of Sucker Punches. Now, Steelix has a little bit of energy to its name. Does it opt for that hard-hitting Earthquake, or does it go for the bait? Just straight for the Psychic Fangs. No build-up required. I like this. If it lets it go, then he just comes with the Marowak and can Mudslap all the way through.
Yeah, putting all eggs in one basket here, going to have increased damage on the Mudslap. Does want to take the last shield, though. First, doesn't want to go down in shields. Has a little bit of energy. Colin6ix puts up a shield. Can he get to 2 Swifts to throw into the Kanto Marowak?
Swift number 1, gonna be reached here. Think that'll be the last that this Furret has to give for this game.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Furret there's no energy on the Furret now. Let's take a look if it can get to another Swift. It is debuffed from that Psychic Fangs. Goes to the Altaria, saves it for later. Rock Slides are going to be applied onto this Altaria. 2, going to be enough to knock out. We know Boom is so comfortable with this matchup, has done it so many times, and grabbed the advantage from that Flyer. A huge reason for why he chose this over Gastrodon. Let's see, Rock Slide number 2, not going to be reached. Sky Attack comes through. I think you have to shield this one. Putting it on that Kanto Marowak. Will a catch onto the Steelix be applied soon?
Kanto Marowak might not need more energy, is trying to prevent more damage from happening to be able to farm down a Shadow Scissor and maybe also the Furret. The question is, bullet punches from Shadow Scissor, they're going to deal a lot of damage. This Pokemon is also relatively healthy. Can you withstand the onslaught of bullet punches, or are you going to swap immediately into your Shadow Steelix, resisting those fast attacks and then dealing more damage here? Is going to throw more Mudslaps. Now it is Furret versus Shadow Steelix. Who has energy? Who has HP? Furret is reaching for the Swift. I can't get it there. Shadow Steelix farms down. First win to Boom.
What an absolutely close game there. Furret, I like what Colin did earlier. He tried to get a little bit more energy on the Furret before swapping out. But what if he had not taken that extra Mudslap? What if he had not taken that Mudslap while being defense dropped by that Psychic Fangs? May have given him a little bit more leg room at the end there, letting it make it to a move against the Steelix. So it wasn't about outpacing the Steelix. It was about hanging on to those Thunder Fangs. Could have been crucial for an endgame, but we'll just have to move on here. boem20, so confident with that Shadow Kanto Marowak. Does Colin start to make the adjustment towards Spite Ops, Corviknight, things that can more reliably shut it down without needing to use the Altaria?
Altaria has been working quite well for Colin for the last 2 tournaments, so maybe he is going to keep on bringing the old reliable Pokemon that really helped him go there. But it has a decent answer in the Shadow Steelix. It has been answered by Shadow Scissor before. That looked quite good in the last game.
He has to expect he almost has to expect Kanto Marowak every single game, just because of how much pressure it has. If it's up any amount of energy, or is able to even get a couple of Mudslaps on a Stunfisk, come out of a matchup with extra energy, Colin's entire team is threatened by it.
Rock Slide boost has been so good in this season for Kanto Marowak, even though it wasn't played a lot in this meta. It now has its place again. When people are less prepared for it, it strikes.
It's critical against things like Corviknight, where 2 Rock Slides into Mudslaps is now enough to knock out, whereas before they could easily tank. Of course, here, we're going to be seeing the Steelix in the lead here for Boom against that Furret. You would think that this is a pretty good matchup for the Shadow Steelix, but in fact, Furret has a lot more agency over this matchup, just be able to Trailblaze and boost through that. Oh, and he tries to make a catch. immediately.
Again, just like in game 1. This time around, it doesn't get answered by the Shadow Scissor, though. Has some energy on the Steelix that can be used later for a potential Earthquake. But now a little chip with the Swift brings in the own Altaria. That is going to put this Altaria of Boom into Sky Attack plus Farm Down range.
It's a really, really nice tactic here, kind of like softening up this Altaria. Even knows that his Altaria may be valuable in the backline here, almost reading that there's that Cancel Marowak, perfect counting there, just to throw that Sky Attack shortly before Boom is able to reach his. He's going to fire back with his own. Does Colin give up another Protect Shield, or does he opt for the full farm down here onto the opposing Altaria? I think you can afford to make this farm down, but of course, you can just opt to hold onto this energy and maybe pivot back out into the Furt if the switch timer allows.
I think he gets the farm down regardless, unless he takes one more damage. Then Boom swaps over to the Steelix with a combo play. It tries to get the KO with the Psychic Fang, but no, Colin anticipates it, knows when the timer is up, brings in the Ferret, and Ferret now is almost at a Trailblaze.
Here's the issue, right? Because if this Trailblaze is shielded up by the Steelix, well, doesn't get shielded. However, if the Steelix is shielded all the way through, that Corviknight in the back could be in a lot of trouble. Still, it's not going to be a very easy path here for Colin. This Steelix, so healthy, it doesn't get to another charge attack. Psychic Fangs comes down, but still, how can we get rid of the remaining Shadow Steelix? If we bring in the Altaria, we're giving that more HP away, I think. And then maybe the Cancel Marrow can even Mud Slap down?
I mean, you can deal a little bit of damage with your Dragon Breath first, but also Sand Attack's dealing a good amount of damage here. Yes, you're gonna get debuff from the Psychic Fangs, but I don't think that matters too much. It's little damage. You can swap out, go for a combo play later, and then reset your defensive stats. Now, immediate swap into this Marowak. Are you going to clear your defenses now?
Here, we probably just go straight for the Bone Clubs. Colin has to start shielding these attacks. Yes, love this bait here because Colin, there's no choice but to shield it. Now, we can levy the Rock Slide here to take out this Corviknight. Altaria, difficult to swap it in, right? Because we're going to be farmed down. As long as he no-shields this, yep, boom. Only lose condition is no-shielding Air Cutter into a boosted Payback. Payback does land on the Marowak, but it's just not going to be enough. It's all about the catch now. Can he read the Altaria swap in? Can he read that catch from Colin6ix? Colin tries to attempt a catch, but no, he does use the CMP, of course. Has that Sky Attack loaded. Rock Slide is reached on this Altaria, but could have maybe gone for a Bone Club there.
Boom needed to react here, but now the Shadow Steelix is being brought in. Can it get to enough damage? No, it gets Sand Attack down. Are you going to win off the back of this Corviknight now? Can you farm down the Altaria? How much HP is it going to be? You're dealing 1 damage per Sand Attack. You want to throw the energy into the Marowak to not take too much damage. Throws the Air Cutter here. It's going to be really, really close. How much HP is left on the Altaria? Is Colin going to Sand Attack down the flying type dragon that is just so bulky? Yes, he is!
Altaria falls, and boom! After a very, very close game 1, has the tables turned on him. Colin strikes back after quite a long series of losses here. Went 2-0 to 2-3 against Martine. Lost 4 games in a row, and now he's ready to strike here. Colin is back, and he has Unova Stunfisk and a Corviknight to get through the rest of Boom's team.
He's finally back on the board. Pointer for him. Now, what is he going to bring in this next game? Went quite a little bit weak into the Shadow Steelix that Boom is running. Even though Altaria, while the Dragon Breath is resisted, it has these flamethrowers for super effective damage, even though Shadow Altaria just deals so much more damage with those, and of course also with the Dragon Breath.
I wonder if it's time to start bringing the Spidops. It just seems so strong into a lot of these picks, such as the Marowak, and even just has play against Altaria. I know Furt is like not the best matchup for it, but it still has those lunges that can apply. Swapping in and out is what these players love to do. And with Spidops, you can always kind of dictate those switches, those leads, depending on if you want to just debuff and make a run for it, or debuff and then debuff their swap and then run for it.
I would even argue against that in a matchup versus Furt, where you're debuffing a lot as Spidops, but you're taking so much damage, you have no way of dealing fast attack pressure, so you have to land those lunges one after another. Player like Boom, who keeps on overfarming and then swapping out,
yep,
is going to capitalize on that and negate your damage, possibly win in the endgame with a Furt that has taken very little damage but has a lot of energy.
Absolutely. Corviknight here, though, is going to look to pick up a pretty neutral matchup against the Marowak. Of course, you are slightly favored, but Marowak now can apply more pressure with those Bone Club, the Mud Slaps and the Rock Slides. Discharge onto this Altaria. Not going to do a lot, but this is a nice matchup in general. Just be able to soak all that energy from the Altaria, have a little bit of residual on that Corviknight ready to go for that backline too.
Yep, those Pokemon soak each other's energy up so well, so they're basically just negating each other. The question is, what shield scenarios are we going to see here? It's probably going to be the zeros, so who's going to dictate switch in this game?
Flamethrower comes down, and I think it's going to be the Unova and Stunfisk that can reach these next 2 discharges before Boom gets the 2 more attacks to take it out. Discharge number 2 comes onto this Altaria, and even after he takes his Flamethrower, I think he'll be able to farm up a lot more energy and leave this matchup with potentially 2 moves ready to go. He does have to watch for a snipe though. If he gets stuck in a Thunder Shock, Boom could come in and then do 1 Mud Slap to knock it out. Is that the choice he makes? He's getting close. I love the wait from Colin there, making sure that he'll commit to that Dragon Breath, throwing the Discharge onto this Altaria. And now we will see if the Marowak comes in to finish the job here, or if he just tries the Dragon Breath down with the Altaria, can't get it. Now Marowak will get a little bit of a lead, but it'll be counteracted by the Corviknight. A couple of sand attacks to the Altaria.
Colin can't capitalize on the energy he had on the Unovan Stunfisk, but maybe he doesn't even realize how important Switch was for him in this game. Brings in the third onto the Shadow Steelix, and it's so good for him that he can avoid the Shadow Steelix with his Corviknight.
First Psychic Fangs, of course, goes no shielded, and I wonder, do these Trailblazes start getting shielded? I don't think you ever shield the first Trailblaze here, but if you don't, well, you have to start shielding Swifts.
That's true. I think shielding the first one is not even the worst idea, ever since this Pokemon really helps us in the matchup in the back versus this Corviknight, so it might be worth to preserve this Pokemon. Another Swift is being thrown here. Do you actually even shield this? Yes, Boom decides to do just that. Doesn't want to get any sort of energy advantage on the Kanto Marowak. Maybe it would even reach another charge attack there, but it gets for a full farm down here, and now that is crazy good for Boom. He has 2 Psychic Fangs, and he can debuff the defenses of Corviknight twice, and it can't swap out anymore.
Psychic Fangs number 1 onto the Corviknight. Not going to do a lot of damage, but the motive is way more important. It's going to be permanently debuffing this Corviknight so that Bone Clubs can be just thrown from the Marowak. A lot faster pacing, but still, it's an uphill battle here as you still need to reach that 1 charge attack, and your opponent has so much energy and shields on their side.
Yeah, but look at this Mud Slap damage, almost like this was not a flying type. First Air Cutter is being thrown. Now Boom already has to make a crucial shield decision. Let's it go. Are we going to see a boost here? Anything that, yes, the attack boost. Now Air Cutters are going to be dangerously close to winning the game for Colin.
He lets through a Mud Slap, but I don't think it's going to be a huge difference here. That Air Cutter boost was all Colin needed. Air Cutter number 2 onto the Marowak, and now, can he get that boost? Doesn't need it. Third Air Cutter should be doing the trick here. Boom. So it felt like he was so close to winning this game. Had so many pieces in place. Steelix farmed that all the way down, but you just can't get to another Bone Club. You can throw these 2 off, no problem, but you can't do another Mud Slap without going down to these sand attacks.
Might have been a play to possibly just deal some more fast attack damage and then hope for the... Wait a second. Are we going to see a shield KO? Can Boom, with the charge attack priority here, knock off 1 HP of this Corviknight and then make it loose? Is this 1 HP? Is it 2? We're going to find out. And the Corviknight goes down through the shield. A perfect play. This clutching Steelix with the 2 Thunderfang, putting Corviknight so incredibly low because of the double defense debuff.
We can't believe it. Boom can't believe it. Colin, so close to the finish line there. I think it really came down to one time he threw a little bit early on the Marowak, let a little bit of the extra Mud Slap go through.
Yes.
I don't know if that would have actually made the difference, but you always have to wonder. It's the little things that matter when the games are this high level. boem20 needs 1 more game to knock Colin out of losers finals. But of course, Colin still so much in this. He has the Altaria and the Fur, which are so strong in the Boom's team, but he just hasn't been able to put the pieces together because the Marowak has been so neutrally strong against everything, even in the slightly negative matchups.
That is the problem of these trainers, right? If you're giving your opponent just 1 teeny tiny win condition, they're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it and run with it. They're going to take it all the way home. boem20 is not a player who will not try to capitalize on every micro mistake that you may make. He is watching, and his Furret is always ready to go, especially into this team. It's just been so instrumental. Hasn't even once got it onto this Corviknight.
It is so insane that he found the way to swap in the Shadow Steelix, realizing this is a double debuffed Corviknight. I'm going to deal so much damage with those Thunderfangs, puts it to 1 HP, and then, of course, had the Bone Club stored on Kanto Marowak to deal 1 more damage through a shield. This is a phenomenon, the shield KO that we have seen so many times over the years in the Play Pokemon series. But game 4 is about to start. Match point for Boom, and that is a lead for him. Looking to close this out with Kanto Marowak on to the Genovan Stunfist. But this is a good save swap.
Oh wait, but this Rock Slide was thrown before a Sky Attack was thrown from the Altaria. Colin shields it up though. He recognizes that this is maybe a sign that Boom doesn't have that many great ways to respond to this. In the back, no Shadow Scissor, of course, and the Flamethrower is going to be launched onto the Steelix. Does Boom want to shield this and kind of chew through the entire Altaria?
I absolutely love what Colin6ix just did there, because he is aware that throwing a Sky Attack into the Marowak is not going to change the Marowak versus Genovan Stunfist matchup. Rather, keep the energy and throw it into whatever comes in to gain your advantages.
Psychic Fangs comes down. Will we opt for a Flamethrower and then a swap? No, we just go straight for the swap. We take advantage of the fact that the switch is misaligned, but that's the advantage of Genovan Stunfist. We can always throw these moves. Wow, we're saving up so much energy. Goes for the Mud Bomb when he reaches 100. Both traders don't want to throw. Boom knows he needs this Earthquake, needs to keep a little bit of energy on his side before exiting this matchup. Just going to snack this Mud Bomb, go into Kanto Marowak, but Colin trying to burn that clock down. We talked about this earlier. This is one of its worst matchups, but Colin's making the best of it, waiting out that switch clock. 3 charge attacks, and it usually will burn down the entire 45-second timer.
We barely started this matchup, and it's almost over already. Not because one of the Pokemon gets KO'd, but because the switch timer is just so incredibly low. Just another charge attack here from the Stunfist. Can you get a Bone Club off? No! You can't throw a Bone Club, but there's going to be Altaria. What a catch this time around,
and what a
Colin.
call! It could have been a Rock Slide. Boom could have made the call that there was going to be a catch, but Colin reads that it's just a Bone Club. I feel like maybe the facial expressions from Boom could have given it away, but now it's going to be the Altaria having to tank 2 Sky Attacks here from the opposing Altaria. How do you address this Fur in the back? If your Altaria gets low, there's no real way to start tanking those Swifts very efficiently.
Everything in the back for Colin is just straight up shining here. This looks so good for him. The alignment that was flipped over there. The Stunfist, absolute masterclass. Now he's going to get another Pokemon in here on this Shadow Steelix in the back. Now Ferret can take some more hits there. Oh, an immediate swap here. Goes for the Earthquake, but it is caught on the Genovan Stunfist. Takes it out. Another day, another Ferret.
I wonder if this is even good for Colin, though.
Right.
As now, this is going to get debuffed permanently. Can we? Oh, we just go straight for the Trailblaze. No charge attack is going to be reached from Boom. Maybe he feels like he needs to build up to the Earthquake and then land a Psychic Fangs bait. He's trying to make life difficult for Colin at the last straw of this match here. Can he get this bait correct? Goes for the Psychic Fangs. If you're Colin, I feel like you have to shield this charge attack. But is this opening the door for Altaria? He gets the shield. Psychic Fangs lands onto the Fur. This second one is going to be applied, but can that Altaria hang on to the Swift?
That's a good question. It's deep in the red. I think that Ferret might have this because it is also boosted. Swaps in the Altaria, but barely has the energy, but Colin is so aware of the situation. Throws the Swift immediately, and now the Shadow Steelix in the back. It is so far away from a charged attack. It is so little HP left. Ferret closes this out. We're going to game 5.
I want to state that if Colin had done an extra Sucker Punch, he had to read that the Altaria was going to be brought in there. If he did a Sucker Punch, there's a chance that Altaria could have reached a Sky Attack and then actually thrown it against the Ferret before he could even notice. Of course, Colin knows all the win conditions for Boom. Boom knows all the win conditions for Colin, and both are looking to cement themselves in this Grand Finals. This would be Boom's 3rd Grand Finals appearance, and I believe for Colin, it would have to be his 5th or 6th Grand Finals appearance. 2 absolute titans here looking to make their mark on the scene, but Inadequence still waiting in the wings. Really enjoying the fact that there are 5 games being played and he can learn a little bit more from his opponents.
All roads lead to Inadequence, truly, but those trainers. Boom was leading on match point here, but Colin6ix said, no, we're not going to repeat Gdansk. I am this time going to get not the 3rd place medal. I'm still in for the title. I need to get my revenge on Inadequence. Looked so good for him earlier in the losers finals. But first of all, defeating boem20 is Colin6ix's goal. Boom has now given up a match point, but so far he has always led in this matchup. He has led 1-0. He has led 2-1. Is he going to get another lead
Colin just got the flip. The script turned on him earlier against Inadequate, and now he's looking to turn the script around against boem20. Just started with some pretty difficult situations, just not being able to navigate the Ferd and the Marowak, but it seems like he's found his stride, he's found his pace, and without using the Spite Ops, he's adjusted to Altaria and Corviknight to neutralize the Marowak. Not even be able to beat it, but just neutralize, because that's all he can really do.
Marowak lead again it is for Boom, this time around into the Corviknight, the flying type. Is he going to stay in this matchup? No, goes straight for the Altaria, knowing there is no hard answer for Colin on his team. Did not bring the Shadow Scissor. Now, and again, a discharge is being thrown.
This is a huge gambit that Boom is playing. He's hiding the Shadow Scissor in the back, but he wants to make Colin think it's not the Shadow Scissor. If you stayed in with the Marowak, which should technically be the best thing to do against the Corviknight lead, knowing that we're ABA, that immediately gives away the fact that we have Shadow Scissor in the back, or we have a Furret. What is he trying to pretend to Colin that he has? It's a Shadow Steelix.
What else is really good for him is that he baited out the Stunfisk with the Altaria, because Stunfisk triple resists those bullet punches. Altaria will always be answered by Stunfisk in this matchup. We've seen this time and time again. So now Altaria is going to try to go for a catch here. Does not get discharged. Colin6ix knows what he's doing, anticipates catches, and presses the Mud Bomb.
Mud Bomb onto this Marowak means that the Corviknight can get it down with 2 air cutters. No need for any kind of boosts, and it's going to be so simple for him to outpace the 2 rock slides. Rock slide number 1 coming down from Boom. Do you respect this? Honestly, I don't mind shielding here, but again, Colin knows that he has a good matchup with the Ferd in the back. No matter what it is, it's probably not too bad. Payback, heavy hitting move, goes unshielded by Boom, tries to make that air cutter call. It's gonna land on this Marowak, take it from 30% to nothing. And now, how do you get rid of the rest of this Corviknight?
Maybe bring in the Altaria. There's not much energy left on this Corviknight. Brings in the Shadow Scissor. Actually, Bullet Punch, even though it is resisted, it still does a lot of damage. Maybe you can go for a last resort Night Slash boost. This could be the win condition for boem20.
Air Cutter comes through. Is a boost going to be applied? Yes, that means this next Air Cutter is going to knock out. You can no longer no-shield this. Okay, so we'll see. Furret come now, and Furret comes in here. And can the Altaria actually manage it? The Scissor can try to get this.
For another air cutter.
Could he have gotten the Bullet Punch down?
Oh, I don't know. He is forcing out a Night Slash here with this sand attack pressure of the Corviknight. Takes the energy, 2 shields up. This is where Furret likes to be. He is going to deal some damage with those sucker punches. Of course, you're already at 2 charged attacks almost with the Shadow Scissor, but you can't take a Swift with your Scissor.
Night Slash comes through. No boosts applied just yet. Next Night Slash comes through. Colin knows all he has to do is shield this up. It's going to do more damage than any Sky Attack or, any Sky Attack or Flamethrower launched by the Altaria. Boom, makes the pivot into Altaria, and we throw the Swift here to knock it out. Altaria, it's his last chance. Colin6ix is getting the knockout here. Furret does a full sweep of all 3 Pokemon here. He's going to be going into the Grand Finals and having a rematch against Inadequance.
Colin6ix, the final boss, is back after being behind versus boem20 here. After being 3rd place in Gdansk while Boom took 2nd, he is now entering once again a grand final of a regional championships. Wants to claim this Stuttgart regional champion title back to his own name. He has been absolutely fantastic, and with one of the strongest Pokemon in the meta, Furret, he has taken back another medal.
2 legendary trainers are about to face off against each other in these grand finals. One of them